Howdy folks, I'm Creeping Buttercup, clumsily curling crooked copper cables.
I'm Amber.
And here are more crooked copper cables for us to clumsily curl. And we do it because we don't have thumbs, and that makes it more difficult when you're a flower. So let's get started on that. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk for Breaking Up with My Boyfriend Over Perfume? So I'm a 20-year-old female, and my boyfriend is also a 20-year-old. We have been together for a little over a year now. We meet up often at each other's dorms, and it's a place where we catch up after our classes and whatnot. Well, recently he came over to my room and was finishing off some homework while I took a nap. Well, when I woke up a few hours later, he told me that he wanted to go take a walk, and I decided to go and take a shower before we did. As I was going through my cupboard, I looked for one of my perfumes. I noticed that the box where I keep all of my old perfumes and empty perfume bottles was gone. Well, I searched for it, and my boyfriend noticed and asked what I was looking for, and I told him about the box. And then he casually went, "Oh yeah, I threw that out because all the bottles were empty." I was shocked, and I asked him why he did that. He said that he did it a while ago when I was asleep. He wanted to use my shampoo, so he opened my cupboard and saw the box and opened it, and then just threw it in the trash without asking me about it. His reasoning being, seeing that all of them were mostly empty. Now, I love perfumes. I love collecting them, and I have a few that are connected to a very important parts of my life. I also have my mom's old perfume. Since I'm away from home, I sometimes smell it when I miss her a bit more than usual. I can't throw away empty bottles. It feels like I'm throwing away a part of me, genuinely. I open the empty ones and I smell them from time to time to get back some memories sometimes. My boyfriend knows that I love perfumes. He always sends me links to perfumes that I might like and everything. So I genuinely don't get it. I genuinely wanted to scream at him. I began to cry. He kind of got scared and started apologizing, but I was too angry. I kicked him out and I told him that I don't want to speak to him right now. He left, and it's been a day since we talked. He sent me a message this morning asking if we can talk, but I don't want to. I feel so numb and upset. I checked the bin where he put them and found the box, but the perfumes were completely damaged. The glass was all shattered, and literally, I could just save one because it was in a plastic bottle. But I don't know what to do. Some of these perfumes were discontinued years ago, so I can't even buy them again. I just want an opinion here. Will I be the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely, you would not be the jerk. He threw away things that were yours without asking. This isn't even a shared residence. This is your house. Not that it would have been okay if it was a shared residence, but like he still should have talked to you. But the fact that he's going through your cabinets, taking things, throwing the bottles out so aggressively that they break. I throw out glass, like empty glass jars and stuff when we finish with them, and they don't break. Like he had to have been throwing them aggressively, which makes us feel intentional.
Yeah, the shattering of them, that feels very strange. Like, I have thrown a lot of glass away, and it is hard to throw glass away in, bottles like this with such force that you would shatter them.
Like if one had gotten broken, you're like, okay, that's fine, but all of them?
Yeah, I don't know. I do wonder about his how he threw these away. If this was like a truly an accident, or if this was actually like I just want to get rid of them so that she stops having these pieces of garbage around or something like that, right? So, I don't know. Like, people do jealous types of things all the time, where maybe he feels like OP is clinging to these perfumes that he didn't buy and, paying too much attention to them. This is, of course, like, just pure speculation, and I can't say whether that's the case or not. But the fact of the matter is that he should have asked before throwing something out. It doesn't matter if he thinks that they're worthless or not. As the expression goes, one person's trash is another person's treasure, right? This wasn't taking up space in his room or anything like that. OP wasn't being like, hey, I've got so many perfume bottles that they're taking up my entire house. Can I start putting them in your house too? Or her just dropping them off at the house, packing his house up with them and being like, oh yeah, I'm just going to leave these here. Don't throw them out or anything like that, right? So, I don't know. I think that OP is, you can break up with someone for whatever reason you want, but this is a pretty good reason to break up with someone. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk Because I Didn't Explain to My Husband What the Movie Was About? My book club was reading Project Hail Mary and decided that we would go to the theater to see the movie. We invited the spouses. Some came. My husband did not. Now he saw the trailers and some scenes from the movie and asked why I didn't tell him about it. I replied that I did tell him when I invited him that it was a science fiction written by the same author who wrote The Martian, a movie that he saw and liked. He said that he wasn't paying attention to me and thought that it was going to be a chick flick and that I should have explained it better. I thought I was pretty clear. I'm a little irritated that he admitted to tuning out. He is irritated that I didn't make him listen. So who's the jerk here? Edit, my husband and I have been married for 49 years. We have very different interests. He made the assumption, to his detriment, that it would be a movie that he was not interested in. And now I have made sure that he knows the plot and make sure that I play YouTube clips of the movie, which kind of spoils it for him. Yeah, I'm that kind of person. I can assure you that he has other redeeming qualities. He just sometimes assumes that it would not be of interest to him. And then he has buyer's remorse that I didn't convince him that it would be worth his while. My response is, and has always been, that I can only bring a horse to water, but I cannot make it drink. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. If he wants to tune you out, then, that's his prerogative, but then it's on him. Like, it is not your job to convince your husband that you're interesting enough to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't find what you're saying worthwhile, then, that's his loss.
I think that's really what this boils down to at the end of the day. I mean, OP tried to explain the movie. OP gave him every opportunity, but he just ignored her and tuned her out. And that's not on OP. And he's being extremely immature by blaming OP for him tuning out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't think that you can do much more than what OP did here.
I would be so insulted if I were her. Sometimes people don't listen, but it seems like she tried to make it clear that this was a movie that was based on another, it was similar to another movie he had seen and liked, and he just couldn't be bothered to listen to anything from the conversation.
What was that? Let me know what you folks think. So, take care and good luck.
And since people couldn't see that, I was aggressively shaking my head at Brian when he said that.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Locking My Desk Drawer After My Coworker Complained That I Ran Out of His Favorite Snacks? I work in a high-stress office, and a few months ago, I decided to start a little snack drawer for myself to keep my energy up. I have everything from premium beef jerky to organic nuts to high-end dark chocolate. One of my coworkers, who I'll call Mike, noticed my stash and asked if he could grab a granola bar. I said sure. Over the next few weeks, one snack turned into a daily habit for him. I did not mind at first because I like being a team player, but Mike started treating my drawer like a free vending machine. He would walk over while I was on the phone and just help himself without asking. Well, last week, I was having a particularly rough day, and I reached for a bag of expensive dried mango that I had bought specifically for a treat. It was gone. Mike had eaten the whole bag that morning. When I asked him about it, he laughed and said that he was craving something sweet. I told him that I spend about $50 a week on these snacks and that he needs to start contributing or stop eating them. He got defensive and says that as a high earner in the office, I should not be so stingy about some fruit. 2 days later, I come into work and found a sticky note on my computer. Mike had written that I was out of the salt and vinegar almonds that he likes and that I should pick some up on my lunch break. That was the breaking point. I went to the store and I bought a heavy-duty drawer lock. Now, when Mike comes over to scavenge, the drawer is bolted shut. He tried to open it yesterday, and when it would not budge, he got angry. He told the rest of the team that I am creating a hostile work environment by hoarding food and that I'm being exclusionary. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. Now, I understand those salt and vinegar almonds are the bomb, but he needs to buy his own salt and vinegar almonds. The entitlement here that this man has, OP was spending $50 a week on snacks, and this dude is over here, eating everything and demanding things and being like, well, you earn a lot of money, so you can just buy snacks for the whole office.
Yeah, this is a pretty entitled take on Mike's part. He needs to start buying his own snacks and having his own snack drawer. And OP didn't even make any kind of unreasonable request here. They just said, if you're going to be eating my snacks all the time, Mike, you need to contribute, which is fair. And, if Mike can't afford these kinds of snacks, then that's too bad, right? Like, I mean, and it doesn't even sound like OP was asking for all that much, but Mike couldn't even be fussed a little bit to provide some additional funding for this,
Or
right?
even show any gratitude.
Yeah.
It's just like sheer entitlement.
Like, you earn more than me, therefore you must pay for my snacks, which I think is a very poor form on his part. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Secretly Buying a House Behind My Mom's Back After She Stole the One I Spent Years Paying For? For some context, my husband and I had a rent-to-own agreement with my mom's husband while they were married. The understanding was that once the house was fully paid off, it would become ours because we were paying the mortgage, taxes, and upkeep. After the divorce, my mom had nowhere to go, so I let her move in with us while we continued to pay for everything tied to the house. Mortgage payments, utilities, repairs, furniture, groceries, basically all the household expenses. My mom only covered her phone bill and credit cards. But when the house was finally paid off, everything changed. She cried that she had nothing to call her own, and that my husband and I were young enough to buy another house someday, so she deserved to keep it. I didn't want to destroy our relationship, so instead of fighting her, I started looking for another home. The problem was that every time I mentioned buying a house, she immediately would discourage me. She would tell me that the economy was terrible, interest rates were too high, and that I couldn't afford it. She was living her best life, traveling, while I paid all of her bills. My husband and I are secretly starting the process of buying another home, got approved, closed on the house, and got the keys without her knowing. I finally told her after closing when we had already had a moving date. Ironically, when I brought it up casually, she interrupted me with the same speech about how irresponsible buying a house would be. I let her finish, and then I told her, actually, we already bought it. We moved this weekend. She lost it, accused me of betraying her, and refused to speak to me. We still did a deep cleaning of the old house, room by room, while moving out because she was out of state visiting family. One evening, after cleaning all day, we left, and minutes later she sent me a message saying that she had just arrived home and was disgusted that we had left her house in shambles. She also refused to let us retrieve some of our belongings from the garage, claiming anything left behind was now hers. Then she started telling family and friends a completely different story. According to her, she had generously let me rent her home cheaply, and I had repaid her by abandoning her financially and stripping the house of furniture. The furniture that she complained about was literally ours. Months later, she finally visited my new home and criticized everything from the fixtures to the curtains. Then, after insulting the place, she looked around and said, I deserve this house. I being her. It's been a couple of years and things are calmer now, but she currently is in major financial trouble and keeps hinting that she wants to move into my property in a trailer because she's getting old. My husband and sons already help maintain her property because she physically struggles to keep up with it. But she wanted the house, right? Be careful what you ask for. She keeps hinting at selling her house and bringing a trailer to my property, but I keep telling her no. Am I the jerk for any of it? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. Your mom is a manipulative mooch. It seems like she cannot be, nothing is good enough unless you're paying all her bills. Like, she's living the life of luxury, traveling all the time because she has nothing to pay for except for her cell phone.
Well, and I think this is really unfortunate because she cried about, wanting the house, and she took it right from underneath OP. And this is why it's important to have good legal documents, even when you are working with family on a financial, transaction. Like, if OP had actually had a contract, then this would not be an issue, right?
Well, it sounds like OP handed it over anyway. Like, OP didn't have to legally.
Well, I mean, I am a bit unclear about that, but I mean, I think that if OP should have fought this. Like, who gives a home away for free, right? And I think like while the mom, I don't think there was any appeasing the mom, no matter what, right? So OP has ruined the relationship no matter what. It doesn't matter. Basically, the mom would have always been super duper unhappy about anything. She just seems to have a desire to make things hard on everyone.
Well, because
right?
her plan is just for OP to be her meal ticket indefinitely. You know, she wanted the house to technically be hers, but for OP to still be the one maintaining it.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I Messed Up by Accidentally Telling a Girl About Her Breakup Before She Even Knew About It. Edit, yes, it's silly early 20s drama. I know it's low stakes nonsense. I also, however, care deeply about one of the people involved here. For some context, here is everyone involved in the story. Me, Bethany, my friend, Sean, Bethany's friend, Carla, a girl Sean has been dating. I'm friends with all three people involved in the story to some extent, but Bethany and I hang out quite frequently, and I don't really know Sean or Carla all that well, but they both frequent some regular events that Bethany and I go to. Long story short, the two got to chatting and eventually started going on dates, which I thought was great. Earlier this week, while catching up with Bethany, I asked how Sean and Carla were doing, and I got told that, oh, they're no longer together. They realized it was mutually platonic, which was a shame, I thought. I didn't really think much more after that. Today, Carla was at an event that neither Bethany nor Sean were at for once, which is very rare. I spoke to her at one point, and I very quickly said, without thinking, oh, I'm sorry that you two haven't worked out, or something along those lines. I don't remember the exact sentence or how I phrased it, to which Carla responded with confusion. I immediately put two and two together and figured out that Sean had no intention of seeing Carla anymore, but Carla has been ghosted and ignored. Carla pressed me for details, and I kind of don't want to tell her the truth because it would implicate Bethany for telling me. And Bethany is a very important friend to me. So I panic and I say, well, I don't know for sure what happened. It was people gossiping and spreading rumors because you didn't show up with him to this event that you normally do together, so people put two and two together. Basically making it sound like I didn't know for sure what was happening, and so I could also make sure that Bethany isn't directly implicated. I end up giving her the advice just to wait it out and hear from him. My understanding of both of them is that they aren't seriously dating and that it was never a relationship stage / talk every single day, but just the odd date, and get confirmation for sure, just in case I'm wrong. I played dumb in order to make sure that Bethany didn't have to deal with me being such a big gab. I don't really care what happens to Sean too much, to be honest. I get along with him well enough, but we are not super close. Outside of the occasional Instagram message, we basically only socialize at these events. He shouldn't have ghosted her and should have just told her I'm not interested in you, sorry. So I'm not really too fussed about that. What I do care about is my friendship with Bethany, who told me this. I assumed, based on what she told me, that maybe it was public knowledge. And I lied afterwards about what I was told so that she wasn't directly implicated. As, from my point of view, she's done nothing wrong, as well as all she's done is tell me something that happened to a mutual friend and shouldn't be punished because Sean is a coward. What I think possibly happened is Carla will ask Sean what's going on. Sean will figure out that Bethany has told either me or her and tell her not to tell people things. Bethany will be annoyed at me for telling Carla. I messed up here, but my big question is this for the greater good that Carla knows this? Will my friendship with Bethany be alright? And did I manage to unmess myself up enough with my cover story of, oh, well, we weren't sure because you didn't show up? Alright, folks, what do you think?
I mean, first of all, I think a lot of those questions we cannot answer because we are not in your shoes, OP. But I think this is a very odd approach to it. I understand you're close to Bethany, but if Bethany is gossiping and she says things like they're common knowledge and you act on that knowledge, that's on Bethany. That's not on you. And so I don't like this whole like lying and covering up. You don't have to come right out and say Bethany told you, but creating these cover stories to protect Bethany, that's not a cool move.
No, I mean, I think like this whole cover story is going to probably end up biting OP more in the end. And then if they had just been honest and said, oh, Bethany told me, maybe she was misunderstood. Like maybe I misunderstood what Bethany was saying or any number of things. But I don't think OP should have concocted this whole, story about like, oh, well, I saw you, people saw you at this and then blah, 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 right? And I think that OP really didn't do themselves any favors in this situation, right? And as for like, will they be fine and did they not mess up the situation? like you're only digging yourself deeper in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think maybe you'll be fine in the short term, but in the long term, I don't know that you are going to be,
Well,
right?
and if Bethany is a good friend, like she might be annoyed initially, but she'll own up that it's her own fault.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Did you hear the joke about the sheep?
Bah, no.
It's bad.
It was bad. It was very bad. And I have licorice spice. And folks, today is a very special day. It's snack day, so make sure to go find yourself someone else's snacks and take them.
No, you should find your own snacks that you already own or buy snacks if you don't have them, but don't take other people's snacks.
Remember, once you take other people's snacks, they become yours, especially if they're in your stomach.
This is Brian's bad advice.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
Don't throw away things that do not belong to you. They may be special.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.